A very warm welcome and thank you for joining our session, Sustainable Operations with AI-powered SAP Environment, Health and Safety. I have the pleasure of having here with me Slaveya Petrova, Product Manager for SAP EHS, Maria Kastreva, also Product Manager for SAP Environment, Health and Safety, Martinkovsky, sorry, Product Manager for SAP EHS, and Hitesh Patel, Product Manager for SAP EHS. And with this, let me hand over to Maria. Over to you.
Great. Thank you very much, Tanya, and welcome everyone to our session today. We look forward in presenting you, in walking you through our agenda for today related to sustainable operations with AI-powered SAP EHS solutions. And today we have in focus first to start with the overall strategy for SAP and the main capabilities within the sustainability solutions. We will have a look at the sustainability portfolio and then deep dive into a solution overview for environmental health and safety. And most probably for every one of you today, the most interesting part of the session will be the evolution of EHS and how we have envisioned that and how we have started walking on the path of bringing the new EHS on the market. And last but not least, in order to do that, we need you as customers and partners being able to contribute towards a better roadmap for the product. And we will talk about the customer influence session for EHS. At first, before we deep dive into EHS and what's the product about, we first would like to focus on the strategy which is outlined by SAP in a direction of few main pillars which enable the ERP centricity, the focus on the cloud-based solutions, incorporating AI into the business processes, and last but not least, being able to support the sustainability ecosystem, create a close connection with partners and customers, so that also the sustainability data foundation can also be supported in establishing a common data model and harmonized ERP data as foundation for the ERP solutions. There are four major areas within sustainability which are with the highest priority for customers, and they are also tightly linked and integrated between each other. And that's basically contributing also to the main goals and strategy of SAP. And that's namely the ESG reporting, the carbon management and accounting, the circularity, and the focus also for today, the operational compliance, how to ensure the safety, the compliance, and the risk management for sustainable operations. Underlying, of course, that each of these solutions, and we will have a look on that in the next slide, is how to make the process is transparent and auditable. If we look at the sustainability solutions portfolio, you will see that the foundation for the operational compliance based on part of S4HANA consists of two main products. One is the product compliance, and the focus also of the session today is the environment, health and safety. Of course, that's the foundation of the sustainability solutions. On top, we have the business technology platform, we have the business data cloud, and the rest of the sustainability solutions, which are sharing the data and also tightly integrating its processes in order to be able to support further processes within SAP for finance, supply chain, and the material transition. Now, if we deep dive into the solution portfolio for EHS, we would see that there are two main areas which are distinct for the product. One is workplace safety, and the other one is environment management. Before we go into details for each of the areas, we have to also notice that there are certain underlying processes which are the foundation, and they are cross processes within EHS. And that's the regulatory and permit compliance management and actions and task management. In order, though, to make sure that these processes are incorporated into the workplace safety and environment management, there are there are data points, and there are certain needs from other expert roles within the sustainability area where certain information is required. We have the ability also within EHS to tightly integrate with asset management. Within EHS, there are sufficient needs and demand on data related to people, and have the ability also to integrate tightly with the HR processes and success factors as other SAP solutions. Of course, all that belongs to the SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management, where also we have tight collaboration and integration with the permit to work and the audit management solutions. Now, if we look at the workplace safety at first, and if we also look at the key roles and experts that we are addressing at the customers, these are roles like safety managers, industrial hygienists, incident managers. If I take as an example the industrial hygienist, this is a key role which is having the responsibility and the main goal to uphold the safety standards for the employees in manufacturing plants, in the industrial facilities, chemical plants, utility sites, or construction sites. And in order to be able to have the right solution in place, such type of role requires a solution that basically drives the basically drives the process to proactively reduce the risk, reduce the incidents, manage the operational changes. Such type of role requires high visibility on the different processes, and the integration aspect is key for such a software solution. Within workplace safety, we have also as main capabilities to support the recording and managing of incidents through different channels, through mobile, offline entries, the embedded workflow, and have the ability for people like the industrial hygienists, safety managers, incident managers to contribute for these processes. We rely on the workflow engines and the integration points with the other solutions. So the right notifications are triggered. There is enough support in action tracking, and also real-time safety KPIs that needs to be ensured, that needs to be with the highest visibilities for the expert roles. Within workplace safety, the main benefits for the different type of roles within the process is basically to increase the situational awareness for the operations and the work locations. The point is to break down all the silos for the safety management processes and initiatives to be able to reduce the financial and the operational risk with different instruments. It could be the tracking of compliance issues. It could be the right level of notification that it's triggered at a certain point. The consistent user interface is a key element, and also the usability of on the different steps within the solution are with the highest focus within EHS. So the right level of information is surfaced, and the transparency and the right level of auditability is also addressed with the highest priority. Within environment management, we address the need of, mainly the needs of roles like environmental managers, whose main goal and priority is to ensure that the organization remains compliant with the applicable environmental regulations and standards. Such type of roles normally also have the goal to prevent and minimize the site environmental impact for air emissions, water pollution, and waste generation. In order to meet such type of needs, environment management solution will have then the objective to manage, to support the management of the environmental impact from the corporate level to the operations. Provide flexible processes for calculating emissions, waste generation, and also auditability. As I mentioned in the previous slides, is one of the core capabilities that across EHS have the rights is provided through the solution. The main capabilities of environment management reflect on the different options of collecting data and sampling, which will be used in the compliance tracking and the various emissions calculations. The cradle-to-grave waste management integrated with the logistics and the transportation processes is also a key capability within environment management. There is also a main focus within the capabilities is the built-in the equations and the content driving a flexible and auditable calculator for the hazardous air pollutants and the GHG emission inventories. Repository and tracking task monitoring, as we mentioned within workplace safety, is also a key within environment management. So the different type of compliance requirements are addressed and met in the right time, depending on whether they are coming from the regulation for a specific permit, or it is a policy which has been established by the company as an entity. Real-time analytics and supporting the different ESG requirements and sustainability reporting requirements is also a key and foundation for such type of solutions. Outlining the most important and critical benefits here are again the reduction of risk of non-compliance and penalties. So the companies are having the right software solutions and processes in place in order to ensure that they can continue the license to operate. The reduction of efforts to calculate the different emissions is also a key benefit, which can be utilized with environment management. Last but not least, accuracy and transparency. As across EHS, that's also the one of the most critical benefits for the solution. Both, if we go back now on EHS level and have a look at the different integration scenarios, there are different aspects which we need to consider here, and the most critical and four main pillars here, I would say, is first at the platform level. The main goal is to, we mentioned it already a couple of times, the transparency, the integration of the different processes, which supports the creation of such a platform to provide processes and functions which ensures the consistency, the commonality, and the efficiency within. You have many examples here on the slide. If we look at the risk assessment and the corrective actions to having the ability of creating a common platform, of having the right level of information of what needs to be completed in order to make sure that no incidents occur in the future. Focus on recording safety observations, trigger the corrective actions, make sure that the right level of information is stored into the system, and based on that, if operational changes or organizational changes are addressed within the EHS solutions. On the process level, what it is important is that the system drives the right level of communication and also have a clear responsibility maintained in the system. All these processes normally run outside of the system, but here the point is that within EHS we have the right tools and the right capabilities to make sure that all these milestones in the processes are configured and driven by the system, so the expert users are actually empowered and notified at the right time when an incident occurs, for example, and a training is required. It was a cause for the incident, so the learning request is triggered in the learning management system. When the training is completed, the incident manager is informed for the completion of the training. And the other way around, within the plant maintenance system, you have, for example, the hierarchy of the different functional locations, which are relevant in the context of EHS as well. And when you have a process in place to manage different incidents, you can tie both elements together, and you can make sure that the incident findings have been addressed to the plant maintenance team through the maintenance notifications. The other aspect here is the data element. There are certain processes that run on a consistent source of information, and the master data is shared. I already gave you an example with plant maintenance and the different locations within EHS that have a similarity in the meaning of it, and the data can be shared. The employee data, people data that have been assigned within incidents or have been assigned within the risk assessment teams have the assignment to organizational units, and this information can be leveraged within EHS, and with that, validating the data at the right moment in the process can be triggered automatically and provides significant accuracy of the data entry whenever the event occurs. Last but not least is how all this transactional data is reflected into the reporting requirements. We have the ability to surface the data for the different stakeholders in the organization. We have the ability to share the data with analytical tools like SAP Analytics Cloud. So the right level of information on a plant level or on a corporate level is displayed in the analytical reporting. We mentioned other solutions within the sustainability portfolio, and if we focus on the sustainability control tower, it's a solution that can consume data from environment management, so that some of the corporate requirements, analytical requirements, can be also automatically consumed by sustainability control tower, and the process can be much more streamlined than compared to a solution that runs separately. Having said all that, I would also now focus on what stays in front of us. How do we imagine that SAP Environment, Health and Safety can move forward and evolve its processes so expert roles, which we mentioned, can be empowered even more than what they have today. And over the last 30 years, SAP has developed a profound understanding of these processes. The main focus is to support our customers and in the domain, and also to bring on the market a robust solution portfolio to build a strong customer base with numerous deployments at customers. However, the sustainability challenges, of course, continue to raise, and complexity in the regulations increase. The technological advancements progress, and EHS has to also evolve in that direction. And the strategic decision is to move to cloud, and also to pursue the first cloud strategy. To move in that direction, of course, it's not an easy task. And definitely there are certain capabilities that need to be still incorporated within the EHS solution in order to do that. AI, of course, it's a key element within the solution portfolio. There are certain aspects that can be improved for the EHS professionals, and there are also different steps in the process that EHS professionals can benefit from such type of capabilities. AI is just one of the elements. Data surfacing the right level of information, enhance the analytical capabilities, make them even more interactive, more proactive, surface data issues that require the attention of the environmental manager. If there is an exceedance, provide a suggestion what needs to be done, how certain type of non-conformances can be addressed in the solution. We anticipate also to have the more modular kind of capabilities, and have the flexibility to connect all these solutions in place. How can we drive that, and what would be the main path that we want to take forward? The first one is, I would say, where we are today. We provide a solution that have the right processes, and have the right features and capabilities in place to have a reactive system. An incident occurs, there is a process that can be used to record the incident. The operational risk management is also supported by the different type of risk assessments related to health, to safety, to environment. The system supports you to run a job hazard analysis, and also define the right corrective measures, and have the tasks in place to make sure that all the corrective measures are implemented. We have the capability also to create a centralized compliance requirements list, and have the ability to have a central place where the compliance requirements have been created, the right level of information from the regulations, from the internal corporate policies, or from the permits are documented in the system. But what needs more, and what we have recognized based on the different aspects of the feedback from customers so far, is that it's great that we can support the transactional processes, and we have the right tools to govern them. But what we need more is to have the ability to assist to assist the expert users in governing the processes through the software solution more effective. And here I will give you one example, and that's the way of handling permit documents, for example. Normally, and I think Slavea will touch point in the next slides. This is a very time-consuming and tedious type of work. It takes a lot of time, and such type of assistance will accelerate and make the process much more efficient. Having the ability of having a centralized system for the compliance requirements and the obligations of the company, in combination with the permit requirements, having the ability of suggesting tasks is what we have as a main goal and task for the future for the compliance management process. If we look at the safety management requirements and how to make the processes behind more proactive, is to again incorporate and embed AI in order to make sure that the governance of this process is executed much more efficiently. Surfacing the right level of information for the safety performance KPIs is also a need that is recognized from the different customer needs, having the right suggestions in place. Now, if I look even more further in the future, from having the right processes and capabilities in place to support the reactive side, we have in the future also the right processes and features in place to make them even more proactive. But what will bring the most value, and that would be our focus in the future, is to even enable and unlock the predictiveness of these processes in the solution. So the right sustainable production insights are surfaced, and even more processes within are automated. The preventive maintenance and the environmental monitoring insights can also contribute to recognizing issues between the maintenance processes and the environmental requirements in place at a certain location. The proactive safety insights can drive also the analysis and the automation of certain processes when a certain correlation between the events is recognized. These are just few examples for how the future could look like, and how the predictiveness could be enabled within EHS. But in order to be even more concrete and to give you a couple of examples how we have moved forward, and even today how we have started walking on this journey, I will like to hand over to Slavea, and Slavea, walk us through a couple of insights.
Will do. Hello, everyone, from my side as well. Thank you, Maria, for explaining our strategy and how we're evolving. On the next slide, we already can have a sneak peek of the plant innovations utilizing artificial intelligence. I'm really excited about this as part of the product team. The first thing that we're going to start with is the AI-assisted permit management. Although Maria have touched points some of that, many of you, if not all, know that a permit can be of so many pages. Imagining that you have to go through all the document, mark everything that you need, and then just start creating it within your systems is, as mentioned, tedious. How we move with this innovation is by digitalizing our permits. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but the artificial intelligence is now capable of suggesting some fields for the creation of that, making it much more faster and automated. Together with the actionable tasks that need to be performed, so this permit can be already used. As an environment manager, although I'm not such, I've seen a permit with more than 200 pages, so I do feel you. The next process that we are leveraging artificial intelligence with is safety instructions proposal. Once a safety professional makes a risk assessment or job hazard analysis within the system, the AI is now able to analyze it and suggest a draft version of the safety instruction for such an equipment. This saves so much time instead of just starting to create one.
No, and also it's a key element. If we also mention, Slavia, the element that it's a corrective measure at the end of the risk assessment process, which needs to ensure that the operations are running consistently and accurately. So the people at the location know how to operate with one equipment. They know which are the relevant risks, and also they know how to which are the controls that have to be in place. They know when they need to wear gloves or goggles, and they need to make sure that they can operate with the equipment properly.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining. Next, but definitely not least, just for that slide, is the conversational incidents. Relatively soon, we've discussed what a person would do if he or she is in another plant and it's part of an audit. If he needs to report an incident or safety observation, how is he or she going to do that? Instead of trying to find the right place, the right system and everything, now you can just log in our AI copilot called Joe, and through nature language, you can explain what you need to do or what happened. So this way, the form itself that stands on the back end of the system is now filled with the information you provide talking to Joe. Maria, would you like to add something?
It is a great transition between what we know today by opening a form, so writing the title, writing the description, selecting the right location where the observation was made. And with this kind of feature, we are transitioning to another level in which we can, through a conversation, we can get the input from the reporter. Could be also a person who is not interacting that often with the system. So the key information here that we will need is just a basic description of what was observed, which are the key elements of the unsafe act on the unsafe condition. And then through the help of Joule, get the unstructured information and structure it before the event is created. So this is a very crucial transition between how we have enabled users to enter the information into the system through a structured way.
Thank you. Apart from that, within Drew, you can also ask her, let's call it that way for now. You can ask her what application you're supposed to use when you're following your environment, health and safety processes within your company. So in our case, we're asking Drew if I want to report an incident, which application I should use. Although it looks simple, especially for subject matter experts, this is crucial for people that have a simple homepage and are using a couple of applications within their day-to-day work. With this, we allow faster and no frustration flow for the people that are not deeply familiar with the system to actually do their job.
And that's the critical, that's the very good point, Slavea, because till now, often we had to look for the right application. We had to figure out which app needs to be used in order to just simply look at the job hazard analysis that have been run at the location, or to monitor the emissions that to monitor the data entries that are required for the emissions calculation, the missing data, the exceedances. We always had to ask the user to jump from one or another application. Now the focus is on the homepage, where you have, as an environmental manager, you have your to-do list. You know what's expected to be done and what you need to focus on a daily basis. You have the ability to, through the homepage, ask for assistance and find the right application. So it's also another element where we are transitioning the focus from usage of multiple applications and navigating from one to another to a homepage, which helps you find the right information.
Thank you. On the next slide, we'll be able to see one of our newly developed, but not yet available, dashboards, where a safety professional can follow, can have an overview of how many incidents occur, so such can be analyzed and then acted upon. We can see days without incidents, restricted work injury rate, and this way, by visualizing, we actually allow safety professionals and companies to have an overview of what's going on within their plants. Okay. And last but not least, another compliance overview dashboard will also be available in SAP Analytics Cloud. This is based on a plant level. And you can see how compliant you are within the plant, how many of the tasks that were supposed to be done have been, how many of they are overdue, do you have any deviations, and so on. So that helps on reporting for the compliance. With that, if my colleagues have nothing to add, I will pass back to Maria.
Thank you, Slavea. It was a great example to see how we move, how we connect the different stakeholders within the organization. Slavea mentioned the support of safety observation recording, which is the non-regular user. We looked at the KPIs, which support the measurement of the safety performance. We looked at a dashboard within an analytics cloud where we have the high-level view of on a plant. So you can see in how many shoes we stepped through the different features and how we have started addressing to a certain extent needs that are supporting the daily operations and the analysis of the data on a different level. And in order to continue on that journey, we have the need to have, we understood and we have accepted the need that we need to have a common platform where we can establish a good EHS community that can contribute with ideas and feature requests that have been recognized while using the solution. And for that purpose, we have established in the beginning of last year the so-called continuous influence session for environmental health and safety. It's one of the sessions within the portfolio of the continuous influence, with the idea to enable our customers and partners to socialize and make us aware of what our product still needs and how our product can evolve. And till now, we had the ability through different channels to collect and understand such type of requests. But now, through the continuous influence session, we target to create the transparency and the awareness of what one customer needs and what may be a potential interest to another. So also the idea is that through this platform, customers can talk to each other and exchange the need of what the software should do. And also they have the right tools also to share the feedback on the platform and have their business motivation documented and transparent for everyone in the community. Hitesh, did I miss something? Would you like to add?
No, I think you have covered it, Maria. I think this is one of the key elements for us in influencing our products, our roadmap, and without customer feedback, there's not a whole lot of value that we could deliver, right? So I think this is a very critical element of our product roadmap and how we shape our products. So we invite our customers, partners to visit this influence portal and be able to open influence requests for our processes, whether it's in workplace safety or environment management. And they can also get preview into what other customers are doing, vote up on the other customer requests if they think that it's important for them as well. So welcome that. But outside of that, no, thank you so much, Slavia and Maria, for introducing what we have as the EHS solutions and as well as highlighting some of the new innovations that we have related to AI, Joule, and analytics.
Thank you, Hitesh. And with that comment, I think we can actually look at some key elements and key points that we can conclude from the session today. And I hope everyone who is joining the session today can agree to that, and leaving the session today will have a good understanding of how key processes within EHS can have much better operational, can be used for much better operational effectiveness, how AI can be incorporated into the different processes for establishing a stronger sustainable impact within the EHS processes, how the product evolves and we saw the transformation journey, the evolution of EHS, and how we want to transform it from a very proactive from a very reactive to proactive, and in the future to a more predictive type of software solution where more insights can be provided to the expert users, so they can they are empowered, and they have the right information in place to operate at the locations. The context of the data and surfacing it in the right steps in the process is also a key element. Last but not least, we mentioned the continuous influence session and the ability of having a transparent process of how such type of customer feedback can reach us, and we have different tools and channels to collect such feedback. We have the customer advisory councils, but the continuous influence session is something that we see as a unique opportunity to establish a good EHS community, and we can also collaborate tightly with all of you as customers and partners to help us shape the better future for EHS.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this excellent presentation. If you want to unshare now, so we can have a look at the questions together.
Right.
Thank you. So we have two questions. One was actually already answered by Martin, partly, but I'll just read it out loud. Is the job hazard analysis of risk assessment integrated with the permit management? And Martin said that there is no integration available yet, but that we are aware of the requirement. He asked for an elaboration. So the elaboration is for job hazard analysis risk assessment. The business is expecting the permit data and the isolation and de-isolation information to work clearance management integrated, of work clearance integrated.
Yes. Tanya, I will start, and maybe Hitesh, you can also jump in. Yes, we, as Martin mentioned, we are aware of this type of requirements, and it is crucial for the job hazard analysis to be tightly integrated with the plant maintenance processes. So the permit to work is influenced by the process of the job hazard analysis. And today, what we do is we have focused on the minimum requirement in providing the safety instructions at an equipment level. So whenever the operations run and the different type of equipments are operational, there is the right level of information in place at the maintenance activities to perform the job. The rest of the permit to work is not there yet, but it is under our radar, and in the future, hopefully, we can address furthermore.
Hitesh, you want to add?
No, I think a good answer. Nothing else to add on my end. We are aware of this, so thanks again for highlighting this requirement. But hope we can enable this in the future, right? But I think we are aware of this, and thanks, Maria, for answering it. Yeah.
Great. There is another suggestion. In the incident management, to provide a completed status for incidents, even if the investigation and task remains incomplete. So the next question is, what are the available AI use cases?
The use cases on which we focus today, I think, were presented shortly by Slovenia. We focus on the process of creating a permit into the compliance register and have the ability to automate that process through by creating it through a document and suggesting the tasks from it. Another use case within workplace safety, within the risk assessment and or job hazard analysis is, for example, at the end of the process to accelerate the creation of the safety instruction, suggest the different sections of the safety instruction. So the expert user will need just to validate the suggestion and create the instruction much faster, and also will ensure the quality of the safety instruction. It's when the document is created manually, there is always a human element where certain information may be missed out, and through the help of AI, this can be ensured. Another use case which Slovenia mentioned was the recording of safety observations through Joule, and moving from a structured way of recording the observations and moving towards a more conversational recording of what was observed and reaching out to a large group of very often not expert users or not oftenly using the system users.
If I may
Yeah, and
join.
I think these are. So go ahead, Slavia.
Yes, I was going to mention that we're going to have deep dive sessions that you'll be able to participate in and actually see a demonstration of our use cases that Maria just also mentioned. But suggestions were always open. This is why we have the platform as well. If you're happy, you can join us and discuss in more detail later as well.
Yeah, no, thanks, Slavia. That's exactly what I was going to say is right. I think we will post, there will be 2 additional sessions. One will be a deep dive into workplace safety, where we will showcase some of these use cases in more detail, and same for environment management. I at least know, I think it's June 4th that we'll have the date for it, but I think we will also make these dates available for the upcoming session. So this will further give you more details on how these solutions and their underlying processes can help you.
That's a good point, Hitesh. The 2 sessions which we have in place, we have planned is on June 4th for environment management, and on June 27th, workplace safety.
Yeah.
Great, thank you so much.
And again, I think these are just the beginning of the AI use cases. We will have additional use cases that will, that we are already internally discussing at SAP, and you can see them on the roadmap and further enabled within the solution portfolio over time. Yeah.
So actually, you mentioned the group that people can join. Do you have a link that we can add? Maybe Martin can add in the chat to this EHS group. That would be great. Then the next question is there EHS training in Algeria?
I would think so.
Yeah, go ahead, Hitesh.
No, I don't think so, at least specifically not off the top of my head. But there is virtual trainings for EHS, Maria, correct? That these are available. Yes. And we could post some of the links in the comment section of this live session as well, that you can reach out to. Some are probably free, that you can at least wet your feet with and understand a little bit more about how these solutions work. And then I think there are some of them which are paid trainings as well that can get you really hands-on training as well.
That would be perfect.
We can post the links.
Great. So how is last-minute risk analysis for the workers added?
Can you read out again, please, Tanya?
How is last-minute risk analysis for the workers added?
Not sure what it means by last minute. I'm assuming that these are the based.
LMRA, does that make more sense to you?
We'll cover, I think, Maria, the more specifics of risk assessment on the next session for workplace safety, correct? I think
Yes. Yes,
I'm
maybe.
happy to answer that and take a look at those as well. Hopefully, we'll be able to answer those questions on the workplace safety session that will happen in June. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe a bit more context, if possible, then we can address it through the demo.
Yeah,
That would be great.
Share that in the comment section and we can address it in the next session. Yeah.
Great, perfect. Thank you. So also, can we have an AI case to integrate the visual inspection for safety observation?
Good one. Related to inspections management. Okay, so we have started to work on this white space of inspections management within EHS, including audit management. And all I will say at this point is you can stay tuned and we will have some more updates within this to enable both of these processes within EHS in the near future. So I will not say much about these two topics, but basically pause at that saying we will enable audit management and inspections management as an integrated process within EHS in the near term. And you can stay tuned for some updates. And once we have something that is as a product update, we will do one of these additional sessions on it as well. Yeah, but good to hear that. But yeah, stay tuned. We will give you some more updates on this. Maria, I don't know if you have anything more to add on this.
No, it's I think you summarized it quite well, Hitesh. It's also maybe a good point to get a bit more context from the colleague who has placed the question, and maybe in the deep dives we can try to address it and understand the need of.
Yeah, this will be a cross process, right? Across both workplace safety and environment management. So this will be a cross process, and we are looking at all sorts of inspections for ad hoc inspections, scheduled inspections, whether they're triggered from regulations, permits, risk assessments, incidents, all of these things, right? So I won't get into the specifics of this, but stay tuned. If you have more specific use cases, either related to audit management or related to inspection management, give us the feedback, drop us an email, or maybe put it in the chat, and happy to take it up in the deep dive sessions later.
Awesome, thank you so much. So the AI solution, the question is, in which version is it released, and is it available for private and public cloud?
Maria, you want to answer that?
Okay.
We focus at first on public cloud, and we have the plan, the features that we've already presented today, to release them as beta version for customers and partners who are interested. It is a great opportunity to try out and share feedback for these features. We still have the opportunity to evaluate it and also incorporate it in the final version, which will be released for all customers before the general availability is reached. And related to private cloud, this is still to be defined, but SAP's strategy is looking into that direction and will be part of our use cases also in the future.
Perfect, thank you very much. We are almost on top of the hour. There's one question left over, and actually we won't have time for more. So as part of AI integration, are there any plans to implement real-time sampling from measuring devices, in brackets, quantitative risk, for risk assessment?
It's a very good question. It is a valid use case which we have thought about, not yet on the roadmap, but in general the quantitative analysis is a key process within the risk assessment, and it's something that we will need to address in the near future. How AI specifically will assist into that, it's still a big research topic for us, as you have the ability to get data from different sensors and equipments to measure the noise, for example, or to measure the level of I will stay with the measuring of the noise. Here the AI capabilities will be mostly relevant into interpretation of the sample data and how that reflects compared to the occupational exposure limits and the actions that needs to be triggered afterwards. At least so far, that's the context which we are thinking of. If you have more insights, please add that into the comments. We are interested to hear more aspects if we need to look at.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we have 1 minute left. Once again, to all attendees or for people who will watch this video, please feel free to add all your questions in the comments area. We will have a look at them and answer them. And with this, I would like to thank the speakers so much for your great job. And a big thanks to all attendees for joining. I wish you a great day, a great evening, depending on where you are.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Tanya. And thank you everyone for all the questions. It shows us a great interest to our session. Much appreciated.